What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again, always with another one. And yes, indeed, it is another one. So here we are. Yeah, we're going to recap and things like that. I did a small brief on the FEMA situation on my live yesterday and things like that. And yeah, we're going to recap today and go over it, dive off just a little bit more deeper. Apparently, the lady that allegedly had told these people to, make these despicable moves, she's speaking out. I think she was on Rolling, but I'm coming from it from another angle, another podcast that I listen to as well. Excuse me. But yeah, we're going to dive off into this thing, people. And yeah, we're going to get to it now. Quarters, nickels, and dimes.
More than a month since historic flooding in East Tennessee, FEMA is still on the ground to help people get assistance.
We have more than 450 FEMA personnel in Tennessee dedicated to this mission. Commitment was made, and we will fulfill that commitment.
The agency opened recovery centers, even went door to door. But a new report alleges discrimination in Florida against supporters of President-elect Donald Trump. The agency called it a clear violation of FEMA's core values and principles to help people regardless of their political affiliation.
I think we're going to have a lot of impacts and people that are going to need our help, sir.
FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell says an unnamed supervisor ran a survivor assistance team and told her workers not to go to homes with yard supporting President-elect Donald Trump. Criswell is not naming the supervisor nor saying when or where the incident happened. But Governor Ron DeSantis says it was in Florida, calling it targeted discrimination.
So DeSantis found out who it actually was, where it was going down at. Obviously, it's in his state. Of course, DeSantis not playing no fucking games out here.
So what the French coast is there to think about?
Shout out to DeSantis. So yeah. Of course, the leader of FEMA, she didn't want to name any names, but eventually the lady popped up. We're going to get to that pretty soon. Let's keep going.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee said on X, quote, "Americans should never have the government weaponized against them. I am working with Tennessee's Attorney General to seek answers and determine if Tennesseans were discriminated against, and look forward to President Trump taking swift action to remove partisan bureaucrats when he takes office." On the campaign trail, Trump casted doubt over FEMA's integrity after Hurricane Helene.
They're getting no help from our federal government because they have no money, because their money's been spent on people that should not be in our country.
Days later, Criswell denied Trump's claim.
It's frankly ridiculous and just plain false. This kind of rhetoric is not helpful to people. You know, it's really a shame that we're putting politics ahead of helping people.
Well, Tennessee's
my thing of this is if that's the case, didn't FEMA come out as well and say that they were broke? FEMA did come out in the middle where the storm was going on between after Helene hit and right before Milton hit, and said that they didn't have any fucking money out here. Now, I remember that. I don't know about y'all out there. I remember them coming out clearly saying that they didn't have any money. So yes, I mean, Jesus Christ, and she talking about she denying this, and see, the Christine chick, it's false. It's false, baby. They already came out and said that y'all didn't have any money. Let's keep going here. We're going to check this part out.
I want first to get your reaction when you heard this news about FEMA and avoiding what appears to be some 20 homes in Florida.
Well, to say that I was surprised would be a lie. I don't necessarily want to demean or demonize every FEMA employee or worker that's out there. I think there are a lot of them that have a good heart that want to help people. The question that it leads me to is to ask the question of what sort of culture has been established in order for, FEMA personnel on the ground, or leadership for that matter, to provide this sort of instruction to FEMA personnel that want to provide help. And more so, I had an interaction with local FEMA officials as well, and they wanted to help people. And what was the interesting thing is it was stated that, hey, we can't have our fingerprints on this, which I think it leads back to the actual question, which is, what sort of culture and what sort of fear is there in place at some of the lower levels of FEMA personnel where they're afraid they're going to lose their job if they don't speak up against actions that are blatantly not aligned with what the organization is supposed to be doing?
Right. And that makes perfect sense. Okay. You're not supposed to be out there as people in this type of position, the people anywhere. You're not supposed to be out there telling individuals to not help people because of who they're voting for out here.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
I think definitely illegal. That's crazy. And I'm talking about these are people that are in the middle of hurting right now. And then, you got that badass Kamala. She came out there talking about some fucking $750 damn dollars. Like that was going to do something. And then half the people barely could qualify for the shit. It was crazy. This is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Thank God that the shit is hitting the fan. I guarantee you, let's go here now. So yeah, obviously it's this lady right here. It would be a sister. You've been on my mind. Yeah, it would be a sister that'll come out here and probably told somebody some dumbass shit like that. Let's go now.
Stating that I was fired. They all alleged that these actions were made on my own recognizances and that it was for my own political advances. However, if you look at the record, there is what we call a community trend. And unfortunately, it just so happened that the political hostility that was encountered by my team, and I was on 2 different teams during this deployment, they just so happened to have the Trump campaign signage. FEMA always preaches avoidance first and then de-escalation. So this is not isolated. This is a colossal event of avoidance, not just in the state of Florida, but you will find avoidance in the Carolinas. Senior leadership will lie to you and tell you that they do not know. But if you ask the DSA crew leads and specialists what they are experiencing in the field, they will tell you. Demand for FEMA to give you those incident reports.
This is wild right here. Hold on.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Before this panel here gets started, this is crazy. What do you mean? So she's talking. This is a whole inside conspiracy situation out here, pretty much. The whole FEMA organization is on board with this type of discrimination, seems like. And this is ridiculous here. Hold on. I can't stand it. And it can't be allowed. It can't be tolerated. So she's kicking the bucket back upstairs and things like that. She obviously was the lower level worker. Hold on here. She obviously was the lower level worker. And she's kicking it back upstairs saying that the orders came from up top. Now, we got to keep going and we got to figure out more. Obviously, she was on Roland Martin, but I'm coming from it at this angle right here. And I want to see what this particular panel has to say about the situation here. So we're going to keep going. Let's go here now. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
It's shameful. Shameful. So the Daily Wire broke the story regarding an FEMA official relief worker skipping houses with Trump signs. So a federal disaster relief official ordered workers to she was a woman. She was a black woman. She ordered workers to bypass the homes of Donald Trump supporters as they surveyed damage caused by Hurricane Milton in Florida, according to internal correspondence obtained by the Daily Wire and confirmed by multiple federal employees. She would tell workers told workers in a message to avoid homes advertising Trump as they canvassed Lake Placid, Florida, to identify residents who could qualify for federal aid. Internal messages viewed by the Daily Wire revealed. This is shameful. Shameful.
It is. She needs to go to jail.
She should.
There's got to be something.
There's got to be something.
Federal law that will send her butt to jail. And we did a video of this incident on.
Okay, and it's not just her. If it's true that the demands came from her superiors down to her to avoid these particular houses that had these signs in front of their houses and things like that, then yes, the whole FEMA organization needs to be overhauled.
So what the French toast is there to think about? You can't make this shit up.
Soldiers of finance. And when you look at this woman, you know that she is in church every Sunday, okay? Holy Ghost filled, sanctified, satellite dish hat on, telling everybody how she's the perfect Christian, okay? Meanwhile, putting lives in danger. You're telling people to skip houses. You don't know what's going on in that house.
No.
Okay.
Right.
These are tax-paying citizens, but there really needs to be an investigation done because she felt empowered to not only tell her employees this, but she immortalized it in an actual method and procedure. She documented it.
Right.
So if she felt that empowered, then I've got to believe that her supervisors at least created the type of atmosphere where she would have been comfortable doing that.
You'll thank me in the morning.
You ain't right, man.
Oh, I'm right. You'll see.
Right. Right. Listen, you know what I'm saying? This sister, she ain't coming with that shit on her own out here. And when people say the old school term shit rolls downhill, it does. Somebody had to come up with that policy with internally of that organization and sent it down to all their workers. The lady even said herself, now we have to go by what she said as well, that it's not just the Florida regime. It's also the Carolinas. We saw the governor of Tennessee. He said he's going to investigate the situation as well to find out if there's any discrimination going on in Tennessee as well behind the hurricane. So yes, the shit rolls downhill around here.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. When I heard this story, at least one thing came to mind. Number one, we know how, especially during the scamdemic, the conservatives, Republicans were talking about how we were being shadow banned and blocked and censored. And no, they're not. Y'all, no, it's not. And but if somebody would do something like this lady has done in the FEMA, why would they not do something a little bit less, just blocking someone, censoring them on the internet? That's a lesser matter compared to someone's life. So if they're willing to put someone's life in jeopardy because of a political signage or whatever, it doesn't, I don't put anything past them. These people are what I call, they major on the minors. And again, that's putting it lightly because people's lives were actually in danger. They major on the minors. People like that make me sick. And I mean, my stomach turns when you have people who can't separate out heavier matters versus, lighter matters, particularly when it's a life and death issue, regardless of someone's political leanings, skin color. People like that literally make me sick. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. When you have people that make, what do old people say, mountains out of molehills, and you have lives at stake, these people are evil. They are evil.
That's evil. And you actually had some of her employees jot down, I'm not going to this house because, as per the procedure, it has a Trump sign. Now, everybody needs to understand, I don't care where you're working, you are under no obligation to adhere to an illegal order. Okay. That is in your soul, you should know, hey, this is wrong. Okay. I'm not going to pay attention to her. Let the chips fall where they may.
Now, see, that's the point right there. And I get what he's saying, and that's the truth out here. But the other side to this coin right here is the fact that we are living in a society with no soul out here.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
That's what the whole debacle really was about this election. That's what the whole situation went down about this election. It was a fight for America's soul. And these are the facts right here. Real talk. And, thankfully, the majority of America actually wanted decent life. We actually did not want the wars. We didn't want the indoctrination of our children and crazy other things going on. We didn't want the disrespect of our financial situation being used and abused by illegals coming over here, getting put up in high-rise hotels and fed every day, good food and stuff like that. And we got hardworking Americans out here starving every damn day. It's ridiculous.
But again, apparently this attitude permeated the entire organization.
Oh yeah.
What about those people in Appalachia? Remember, they couldn't get help.
No.
Okay, for days.
Absolutely.
So we got the same thing going on there. And remember, back during the Tea Party days when they first came out, the IRS and Lois Lerner. Remember how they were denying the 501c3 status?
That's right.
Okay, so this
under
is
the
another
Obama
thing.
administration, how he sicked the IRS on these Christian nonprofit groups that were against. Look at how they did that. When people, that's why people say, "Oh, everybody, if you're in charge, you get to make the rules." No, you don't. No, you don't. And you cannot enforce, and people should know you're in, like you said, you're not under any obligation to follow every rule, every law, just because you do have a conscience. If at some point, your conscience should kick in, especially when the rule, if you will, is putting more lives in danger. Right. This is why we have people who we call heroes. They go above and beyond the call. And sometimes there are people in the military, talking about Veterans Day, there are people in the military, particularly these last few wars, that literally disobeyed orders to go and save their fellow brothers in cadre, because the officers told them, no, don't go in there. They said, no, I'm going after my people. They broke the rules, if you will, but now they're considered heroes because they said, damn you, damn that order. I'm not following it. I'm going to save my brothers and my comrades.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you all both have mentioned, and the chat is on fire. Lock her up. Lock her up. I agree with all of you. Lock her up. But this is a culture that is not just in federal government. It's in the school system. It's in corporations. Partisan leftists push their activism, and they create a culture of othering people, of conservatives or people that have voted for Trump. This is
not only just that, just people, period, that don't agree with their ideology, or people that don't agree with whatever it is that the extreme left want to have done. And these are the points, and this is why we're at this point right now here at this day with the type of president that we have coming up this next year. People were tired of the sickness and the illness and the pill dope pushing that the Democratic Party was doing on American society. And this is a part of it right here. This is a whole cleansing process that's going on here, especially, and it's starting. And we're seeing it now. The chips are falling, and everybody's going to go down who was on the side of the bullshit. Seriously.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
I said on my social media today, since this election, parents, make sure you're talking to your children and that they are not being demonized or vilified or any type of pushback is given on them because they may have conservative viewpoints, or because they voted for Trump, or the parents voted for Trump. Make sure you're talking to your children, because this has become okay in institutions all over the country. They do this. It's really sick, not just to children, but even on the job. How many people, I know of at least a handful, went to work on Wednesday after the election, and people in management made large statements or held meetings about how bad the country will be under Trump, giving mental health days because Trump was elected. It's sick.
I've never seen anything like this before. Listen, I voted, the first president I voted for was Clinton, okay? But I voted for, I did not vote in 2008 for president. I didn't vote for president. But I guess my first losing election was Romney versus Obama, okay? And I just went to work the next day. Okay, he's president again. I got to do my thing. I didn't burn down anyone's store. I didn't riot, okay? Trump, I voted for him in 2020. He didn't win. Okay, I have some concerns about that.
Right.
But, I went to work. I did my thing, okay? I didn't spaz out. I didn't need, psychiatric help. This is the first time I've seen anything like this, but it's a testament to this sick ass media that is driving this psychosis. Okay, people like Joy Reid, Joy, whatever her name is, the women on the
talking about Joy Reid
View, and I use that term women loosely when I refer to them. These people are driving this, and folk are internalizing it.
Yeah, you know, and Tyrone, it also goes to
before you come on, Shelley, breaking news: Kash Patel has just been named CIA director.
Are you serious?
Wow.
Yes, I like Kash. Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what it's saying. Yeah, he's been named CIA. Let me just make sure I'm looking.
Oh,
CIA director.
He's good. Oh, that is wonderful. Good. Congratulations. This is another thing. Again, then this may not be the most important, but it also goes to teaching our young people, our children, even ourselves, that everything is not all the same, right? There are priorities. Some issues are more prioritized than others, like life. Okay, then whatever other sin you want to put under there. I don't buy into that all sin is the same. I don't do that. I mean, maybe all sin, but I don't see it. I don't say all sin have this. Is the same. Let me just say it that way. So I prioritize them. So this woman, literally, in the culture, like you said, the culture that created this or allowed this has no sense of, well, it's probably a little bit more wrong, if you will, to have people die particularly because of their political standings, versus you going to get them and you just not liking them. Maybe they're on the wrong side. There are different priorities here.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, it is what it is.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
The whole situation is screwed up. The whole FEMA situation is screwed up. We heard what these individuals had to say here on the panel. Also, as well, what I spoke upon. It's crazy out here. This was highly disrespectful that this woman didn't have the fortitude to go against whatever it was they was telling her to do. And this is just facts here. I get it. People be in, situations and things like that. And, you're getting orders and stuff. But listen, look, some things just can't go. Some things just ought not need to be done. And this life. And when you're working for a serious organization like FEMA that's tasked with the responsibility to actually help people during the most tragic times in their lives and things like that, regardless of who they vote for, skin color, height, weight, whatever you want to put on there. Regardless of that, they're charged and tasked with the responsibility to make sure that they help the individuals, and they also have the proper finances to do so. Talk about FEMA bankrupt and all that type of crap. This is sad out here. We got a lot of correcting to do in this country. And at the end of the day, it's a lot of work that needs to be done. And it is what it is, people. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.